Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with SEAL Team, Season 1, Episode 4, Review. So I'd just like to start off, by, obviously apologize for this one being so late. This is from, last week ago, this episode, and we had episode 5 this week. So I decided I was going to do an episode 4, plus episode 5, and then make it into one video to kind of catch up here. But I decided that might be, a little, a little bit too much, a little bit strenuous for me. So I just decided to still split them up. So I'm going to do this one. This is just going to be hopefully a short one. And I know that I'm not going to get, a lot of people aren't going to watch this, but that's fine. For me, I like having all the episodes so then people, that watch the show can go back and kind of, check in on them and stuff like that. So I like to have a full collection. And so that's why I'm doing this, and, catching up. So yeah, I'd just like to apologize. It's been a really busy week and I plan on getting this one out Monday or Tuesday. So then I could do episode 5 and things just, one thing led to another and I just couldn't get them out. So anyways, yeah, I apologize. And then after this one, should be episode 5 coming out as well. So yeah, in the future, I'm going to try to be on time with these. This week is going to be a little tough again because, well, this is the last week, but I have 4 reviews to make, this week again, with The Deuce, The Walking Dead, The Brave, and this then. So, but yeah, after this week, then I'll only have 3, in total to do. So anyways, let's get into this episode. Personally, yeah, I felt like it was a good episode. I wouldn't say great, but it was good. Again, a little bit better than last week, I think. So yeah, definitely a positive incline here with episodes for me, at least. I feel like each week we're getting better and better and better, and I think it's building to be a great season here of the show. So yeah, I felt like this one was pretty strong. There was a lot of positive things in it. There were some negatives, of course, but that's sort of the typical negatives in a CBS sort of drama like this, procedural drama. Yeah, for sure. So anyways, yeah, quick recap for this one. Hopefully it's not going to be too long. And then rating, some overall thoughts and a favorite character for this one. So yeah, so we started this episode with a flashback to a scene in 1994, where in Bosnia, a line of women, children, and some men are actually executed by a firing squad, which is absolutely, tragic to watch. Obviously, they don't, show it, but they show, we can see, what you can kind of picture what's happening. And yeah, this kind of sparks the mission this week, as it's basically to get the leader or the organizer of that event in Bosnia and others. He's committed, other acts as well, and his name is Belgique. And so he's basically, the leader of this. I guess that's, what he kind of goes by. That's his last name. And, yeah, the team gets intel that he's meeting in Estonia to make an arms deal and that they can take him then because in the past he's, stayed in European countries that, the U.S., isn't really comfortable in going into and getting him. So finally he's in Estonia. They have a window here where they can pick him up and take him, hopefully, and kind of bring him to justice here. And obviously they want to take him alive and not dead. So that's a big part of this as well, for the team to be able to, bring him in alive. So, I would guess that's for, gathering information on him, trying to get maybe other people that were involved in the events or the ring, per se, right, the crime ring. So, for sure. So then we see Jason and his wife, struggling with the whole separation thing. So they get called to the school. Their son's starting to act up a little bit. Gets in a fight with another kid or something like that. And, yeah, I mean, it's a little cliche, right? We've definitely seen it before. Maybe a little cheesy, that the son's getting in trouble because the parents are, split up at home. Yeah, I mean, we've seen it before, but I felt like it was interesting because afterwards, Jason and his wife sleep together again. At home there, right when they leave the school, they go home and do that. So I don't know. They've been apart for 6 months and they're still kind of sleeping with each other again. So yeah, definitely interesting. Some I think that's kind of funny. And yeah, I mean some nice family dynamics there for sure. For that. I feel like it was an interesting part of this episode for sure, and we're going to definitely see more of that in the future here. I'm thinking that Jason and his wife are going to get back together here shortly, but yeah, we'll have to see some more of that for sure. So then Clay takes Stella to his dad's live book reading event. His dad is named Ash, or Ashley Spencer. We finally get to meet the infamous father, right? We've heard a lot about it, about the book and the controversy and all that. So finally, we're gonna be able to meet him. So after the book reading, then Stella and Ash get along pretty well. They, kind of talking about Clay, joking about him. Some funny lines there. But then Clay kind of starts making, sly comments about Ash and, his parenting and, how he, kind of treated Clay as a child. And yeah, it kind of shows that Clay still holds a grudge for his father, and, how his father, treated him, as a child, wasn't, always around for him and stuff. So, for sure, a little tough to watch there as well with Clay kind of, holding that grudge for him after all those years, because I bet Clay, or I'm kind of guessing Clay is like around 20 something. So obviously it's been a few years for sure. So then later on, like towards the end of the episode here, just finishing up this sort of storyline here, that Clay goes and meets his father again. I think his father is like kind of packing up to leave town because he's done this whole book reading thing. So he kind of goes to say goodbye, I guess. And then the father kind of makes a joke about Clay's mom and upsets him quite a lot. So Clay just is not having it. He does not take it. He kind of just walks away and gets in his car, drives off as his father, calls, Spencer, or not Spencer, Clay, to come back. And yeah, Clay just leaves and doesn't say goodbye to his dad. And I totally support him in that. I think the dad was totally out of line with what he said. And good on Clay for doing that. So yeah, I feel like this isn't the last time that we see Clay's dad. I feel like he's gonna come back in the show quite a bit. I think actually, I think this is sort of just the first time we've seen him. And I definitely do not think it will be the last, because I think he's a very interesting character, and I think that dynamic with Clay and his dad is going to be interesting. But I could be totally wrong. I'm not sure. So then Jason and the team arrive in Estonia and are doing intel on Belgique in a town square area. It's like a downtown place of somewhere in Estonia, and basically, it was an interesting scene, kind of suspenseful, right? Because they're all kind of following behind this Belgique guy and his detail. But then all of a sudden, Jason is kind of walking around, and he gets spotted by one of his security guards, and his name is Lucas, I guess. And he's basically a guy he knew from before when he worked with him on some past mission or something like that. So the guard or Lucas recognizes him right away, and kind of looks at him in a way. So they basically both come to that realization of who each other are. They know each other, and yeah, so the mission's practically blown at this point, as the guard knows the guard knows who they are now. So yeah, definitely tragic thing there, right? I mean, you get there, you're doing all this intel and stuff, and then you get spotted. So yeah, it's basically over. But Jason and Ray, they're the best at coming up with plans, by the way. They come up with an idea at the airport to make the guards in Belgique think that they leave the country on the plane, but really they actually slip in the cargo little trailer thing there, and they actually stay behind I guess the luggage carts, right? The luggage carts, they kind of sneak in those, and they actually stay behind. So when the security guards, or his security detail, they're in the airport, watch the plane take off, then they kind of leave, and then Jason and his team come out of the carts, so they're there to pursue him instead of going home. And the plan basically works perfectly. They fool Belgique and the other man, and they're able to kind of stay there undetected. So yeah, for sure, a good plan there. We've seen some good plans with Jason and Ray before in the past, and I feel like this was just another great one. And I really like the way they shot it too, with them kind of sneaking out of the carts right when the other guy walked away. We saw at the airport. So yeah, very interesting there. Then the team comes up with a plan to jump Belgique in the vehicle on his way to the meet, just like they practiced before in the beginning of the episode there. They're trying to get it under 20 seconds or something, the whole car raid stuff. A very suspenseful scene here. This brought on us for sure. So yeah, basically Belgique is with this security detail in a van, and they're on their way to this meet, and they still think that Jason and the team are gone, right? So they not really worrying about anything here, and yeah, I felt like it was great action as the van collides with the car. And just a lot of stuff like that. The construction worker there, or not the construction worker, I guess, but he was part of the team. He kind of poses as one, and he kind of holds them up and starts pouring dirt down. That was kind of a funny scene there. Yeah, so then the van, hits the car here, and obviously Jason and the team are in the van, and they're able to kill some of the guards then, and isolate Belgique. So they're about to go into the car there and get him, but he's able actually to get away with Lucas, the guard that they know. And so then Jason, Ray, and Sonny chase after them, and down an alley really, but then they actually go into a hotel, and basically after chasing them, Sonny and Jason and Ray find them in a hotel hallway and basically trap them in there by surrounding them. Ray is on one side and then Jason and Sonny are on the other side, and they're kind of in the middle, so really nowhere to go. And he's kind of surrounded at this point, but then Jason, so Lucas is kind of still protecting them there. He has them at gunpoint, but luckily then Jason is able to convince Lucas to do the right thing as he takes down Belgique and lets Jason and the guys arrest him and take him away. So then, of course, when Lucas is able to subdue Belgique here and kind of elbows him back and is able to take him down. So the mission is a success then. After all, they're able to get this Belgique guy with the help of Lucas, which is, the right thing to do, right? I mean, Jason was talking to him about that when they had a drink together as well. So it was kind of a common theme and, kind of a lot of stuff built up to that moment. And I felt like, good development. It was definitely believable that Lucas would do that at that point. And yeah, I mean, he didn't really have a choice, right? I mean, Jason and Ray and Sonny were surrounding them, couldn't really go anywhere, and they didn't want Lucas to get hurt in this, and it really wasn't worth it for Lucas, to keep protecting Belgique in a way. So for sure, good ending there, and the mission is a success. And yeah, I mean, really a success because they take him down, they arrest him. He's perfectly, he's alive, and he's fine, not dead. So for sure. So then towards the end of the episode here, and as I said, it is a quick recap, right? So not a lot of stuff in here. But yeah, Jason cleans out all of Nate's stuff once and for all. Then at the end of the episode, there he's at his pickup truck. And he decides not to tell anyone about the burner phone and the woman he found, just because he doesn't, want to upset anyone. And they're really not sure the whole story here, Ray and him. So, and this was a thing in this episode too. Ray was kind of telling Jason, it's not really worth it, man, to kind of keep talking about this and raise the issue and everything. So, so then he calls his wife and, tells her that, he didn't find anything on the burner phone, lying to her, but, just to kind of cover that up and put it to bed finally. But then he's in his truck, looking through some of Nate's old pictures and sees the same woman that he saw the other night at that address in one of the pictures from Afghanistan. And in one of Nate's, like one of his albums there. So pretty crazy, scene there. And then we hear Jason, he says, "What are you doing in Afghanistan?" Right? To the, kind of talking to the woman there. And yeah, then the episode ends right there, right when he says that, and definitely ends with some mystery too. So yeah, I really like that ending where we kind of see this woman as actually in this picture in Afghanistan. So we'll have to see where that goes, right? I mean, it's definitely interesting. So that means that she did work with them, and obviously Jason didn't remember her, I guess. So she maybe wasn't a big part in the mission, but so definitely interesting there. We'll have to see where that leads. Personally, in prediction territory here, I think that she is, somehow involved with, either, an opponent to them or something like that. And I think Nate kind of got over his head and was actually working for, some like that, maybe at the Afghani government or something like that. I don't know. I'm not, or maybe even the Taliban. I'm not exactly sure, but I think Nate was doing something bad here. I don't think it was an affair. Like, I think it was worse than that. So, yeah, we'll have to see, though, for sure. And that's going to be a great sort of mystery going on with this season as well. And a great end to the episode. So now I get to my rating, some overall thoughts, and my favorite character of this one. So for a rating for this episode, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, I thought it was definitely, like I said, better than last week. And last week's was better than the week before. So yeah, I really like the way they're ramping things up here. Yeah, I mean, the mission seemed a little too easy. To get Baljik, he's supposed to be, this iconic, hate crime sort of, or not hate crime, war crimes, criminal sort of guy. And, it just kind of seemed a little too easy, but he also is a lot older, and he's not, committing the same kind of crimes now. He's sort of, kind of past his prime, I guess, per se. So, yeah, for sure, it seemed a little easy, but, kind of realistic there as well with him being kind of old. And the way it kind of ended, right? It's definitely realistic. Kind of, they developed that up, boosted that up to kind of make that seem more realistic that Lucas would do something like that. And there's a lot of focus on the family stuff this episode, or sort of the mission scenes. We only had about, I think, 10 minutes of mission scenes, like the actual mission there, and then planning it. But there's a lot of focus on that family stuff and sort of the background. So I don't know. I personally, I watched the Brave and this for kind of the action and the suspense and everything. And I don't know. This one's just kind of focusing more on that background and that family kind of stuff. Which I don't mind. I feel like it's interesting, but it's definitely not the main, focus of the show. And I feel like they focused on it a little bit too much this episode. The Clay's dad thing, it did seem a little cliche, a little stereotypical, that, his dad wasn't there for him when he was a child, so he, holds a grudge against him. Yeah, definitely cliche, sort of, a little stereotypical there for sure. But I felt like it was okay. I mean, it was, we finally got to meet him, and he was actually more than I thought, I was expecting when they were describing him and stuff. So, yeah, for sure, definitely interesting. And Ashley Spencer, I don't know, just kind of a cool name as well. So, yeah, I feel like it's not the last of them. So I feel like, yeah, that part was sort of cliche and stereotypical, but I think they're going to do a little bit better if we see him, again, and he actually ends up, getting a story arc in this season. Very suspenseful scenes though throughout, with them, kind of at that standoff in the, the hallway of the hotel there. The scene where, in the airport where they kind of hide, when they're waiting for, Baljik's car to pull up behind the, construction truck there. So, yeah, very suspenseful throughout. And, I mean, that's good, right? But there just wasn't a lot of it, compared to other episodes so far. And, even compared to maybe the Brave as well. And then Clay and Stella romance, nice to see, right? You gotta have a little bit of romance in this show, with, what's going on. And I feel like, yeah, it's going places for sure, right? It's maybe a little fast moving, but, I think something's gonna happen with that relationship for sure. But, yeah, very interesting there to see a romance in the show. And I feel like they're a great pair for each other as well. I like the use of the flashback in the beginning. That was probably, one of the best positives in this one. We haven't really seen that before yet in the episodes. I felt like that was a great use of that. It just built, the contempt for this Baljik guy right away. So we kind of, felt sorry for these victims as well. So yeah, I felt like that was a great beginning part to this episode, and really, built on what we were gonna see. It kind of got us more inspired, wanted Jason and the team to get this guy, right? So, very, very good there for supporting there. And yeah, great ending as well. Great, mystery there at the ending. And I would say that's the B plot at this point, kind of finding Nate's sort of mystery, I guess, woman, I guess. Yeah, mystery woman, I guess, on his burner phone. I would call that the B plot right now. I mean, the family stuff is definitely, kind of, parallel. But for sure, I think this is sort of the next best sort of plot every week, next to, of course, the mission. So yeah, for sure, I feel like it's great plot here, and they're kind of slow moving a little bit, which I like. And hopefully, towards the end of the season here, we'll kind of well, actually, I think it's going to be before the end of the season, but I hopefully, something's going to be wrapped up with this, and we're going to find out, maybe a big conspiracy or something. So it might end up being pretty big. So yeah, great ending there for the episode for sure. And I think that's going to lead to a lot of stuff next week and in future weeks as well. Favorite character for this one is going to be Mandy Ellis, and she's actually played by Jessica Parry, and she was in Mad Men. She had a pretty big role in that show, if you've seen that. And yeah, I think she's doing a great job with Mandy Ellis. We actually saw a lot of her this episode. I feel like she was focused on a little bit. Didn't really mention her stuff in the recap, but obviously we find out that guy actually lied about the intel just so that they could capture Belgique there at the end. And the way she reacts to it was really great. I mean, the way she's kind of becoming a leader with this group and kind of in charge of a lot of stuff. She's definitely taken on that responsibility. Her and Davis, really two, like I think I talked about this last episode, but very powerful women here, right, on this team, and definitely very important as well. So for sure, great character there, great character building. I feel like she's going to become a bigger role in the show as we go along, and she already is. And I think Jessica Parry's doing a great job. Great in emotional scenes, and very serious when she has to be, and she's also kind of funny too in some scenes. As well, kind of joking with the guys. So for sure, great character there. Yeah, I felt like this was kind of a spotlight episode for her compared to the others. I felt like they focused on her quite a bit more than the other episodes. So for sure. Anyways, that'll just about do it for this video. Yep, it's a short one, just because I want to get caught up on this episode. So yeah, this was already a week old, so hopefully we'll get this out and see what happens. But anyways, episode 5 review should be after this one, and then I'll be all caught up and ready for this week for reviews. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and thank you for the recent support on my videos. Really appreciate it. Really makes me happy. So yeah, and definitely this show, it's ramping up. It's definitely getting better each week. So I am excited for what's to come here in the next few weeks. So anyways, guys, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for SEAL Team Season 1, Episode 5.